Please allow Long Pi to welcome you as a newly ordained monk. Okay. So first of all, let me rejoice in everyone's merit. Okay, sadhu. For me as a Buddhist monk, I truly admire when I see someone, especially foreigner, decided to become a monk. You from different country. Okay, you come from far away to Thailand, and now you decided to become a monk. I don't know how long you plan to become a monk, but that doesn't matter, because now you're a monk. You stay at the present moment. Future, we never know. Some people want to be a monk for 1 week or 1 month or 3 months, but they end up become a monk for life. You know, we have many foreigners who follow that path. You never know. So forget about the future. Forget about the past. Now you are here. You in the monastic community, you become a monk. And that's something you should remind yourself. So being a monk is a simple life, but it's not an easy life. It is simple, but it's not easy at all. There are so many things that we need to learn and we need to adjust ourselves. The sooner the better. So the sooner you adjust yourself, the faster you feel comfortable with your monk's life. Okay. Today, Long Pi set 4 objectives. Okay. The first one, I want to give you an overview of ordination background. And the second one, we will go to why people become a monk. Okay. You may know why you become a monk, but let's think about it deeper. Why people become a monk? Okay. And what's the benefit of someone being a monk? What's the benefit of you that you think that you can gain from monk's life? And number 4, the last one, we will talk about how to become successful in monkhood. Do you have any idea how to become successful as a monk? You look at the outside world, a lot of people don't know what life is and how to live life noble. They don't know what life purpose is. No? The sad news is, when we were born, there was no handbook given to us. Okay? When human being born, there was no one give us the handbook or the manual telling us how to live good life. When we buy computer or phone, it comes with the handbook, tell us how to use that device properly, so that device can last very long time. How to charge it, how to clean it, how to maintain it. But being born as a human being, there is no such thing given to us. The good news is, now you die from the lay life, you born as a monk. There is such a handbook telling you how to become a good monk. Something like this. Okay, this is the Vinaya, okay, the rules, a monastic code that monks need to be followed. This kind of book is considered a handbook that helps lay down the foundation for you to become a good monk and to be successful in your ordination. The thing is, not many monks study, not many monks read about it. Okay? But I'm telling you that there is such a book called the Handbook of Being a Good Monk. Okay? You just have to find a way and spend time to study it. You can either read by yourself, you can talk to your teaching monk, you can talk to your mentor monk. To be successful in anything, worldly life or monk's life, at least 4 things you need to keep in mind. If you have these 4 things in mind, you're on your way to be success. Okay? It gives you a framework of how to, train yourself to become successful. Number 1 is find good teacher. If you want to be a lawyer, find the best lawyer teacher. Go to the best law school. If you want to be a good doctor, find the best medical school and learn from those great teachers. One day you will become a great doctor, great lawyer. Now you become a monk. Your job to find good teacher. Okay, who is your teacher? The best teacher at the moment is the teaching of the Buddha, the Buddhist scripture. This is the best teacher, but this teacher cannot speak. It's only the word. You have to read and figure out what it is. It doesn't mean you can read and then you can understand. It's different thing. You need to find someone that help you to explain. This is the best teacher. And second teacher is, okay, your teaching monk, your mentor monk, so you learn from them. Okay. Second one, listen to the teaching. When you go to school, you pay attention for what you learn. You don't waste your time. If you come to the class, you don't prepare, your mind is outside the classroom, you learn nothing much. But if you are here, you should be here physically and emotionally. You focus on what you learn. Listen to the teaching attentively. And the third one, don't just believe what you have learned from your teacher, from books that you read, from the seminar that you join. You don't just right away believe. You need to think critically. You need to reflect, on what you learn. Does it make sense to you, what you learn, or you feel like you still have doubt or unclear? Okay, if it doesn't make sense, make sure you find someone to help you to clarify what you have been doubting of what you learn. Otherwise, you wouldn't fully understand what you learn. Okay, so think critically, reflect on what you learn. And last one, once you learn it, you understand it, but you don't do anything about what you learn. What you have been learning is useless. You need to put everything you learn into practice. If you want to be a good lawyer, then you need to practice how to, become a lawyer. And you may help out at the law firm or something. Doctor the same, teacher the same. You have to teach to gain experience. You become a monk, you need to know what monk's supposed to be knowing, what monk's supposed to be practicing. So basically, put everything into practice. Master it until you are confident of what you learn, and it becomes your wisdom. Okay, it becomes your knowledge. So if you keep this picture in mind, at least you have a framework of what to do when you want to learn something, when you want to be good at something. Ordination background. Okay, what is ordination? When you hear the word ordination, who was the first monk in Buddhism? How did ordination take place? What happened back then? I believe you have some sort of basic knowledge about Buddhism. Prince Siddhartha was a man. Okay, he has father, he has mother, he has wife, he had kids. Okay, eventually he feel like, well, even though he was born prince, he had everything that all human beings ever wanted, but he feel like life is missing something. So he decided to leave everything behind and went out searching. He's searching for something. He didn't even know what it was. He felt like there must be something that life is missing in the palace. He went out and he learned from two teachers, right? Alandaka and Udaka, aesthetics. So he learned from both of them. He didn't get an answer for what he was looking for. So he stopped learning and he went on his own search. He found a group of monks called the 5 ascetics, right? So these 5 ascetics. So he spent time with them, okay? Torture himself for 6 years and attained nothing. And eventually he decided, no, I will stop torture myself. So he started eating, he started taking care of his physical body, he gained energy back, and then he started meditate on his own. So let's make it short. Finally, he attained enlightenment, self-enlightenment. And once he attained enlightenment, he understands the true nature of life, the true nature of things. He got his question, all the question answered, fully answered through his own enlightenment. He was thinking, well, who should I teach? What I found is very profound. I should, share with someone. So he was thinking of his 2 teachers, Alandaka and Uddaka, ascetic, but too bad, both of them passed away. And then he think of these 5 ascetics who used to take care of him, while he were practicing asceticism, torture himself. So he located them and he found them. Okay, he found these 5 ascetics, and he shared with them what he discovered through his enlightenment. And that's become the first teaching. The first teaching called what? The Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, right? The first sutra. At the end of that teaching, one of these 5 ascetics, Anyagonnanya, has achieved the first level of enlightenment. He attained the Sodapatthana, and then he ordained. First monk or bhikkhu happened after the Buddha, okay, teach the 5 ascetics. His name is Anyagonnanya. He became the first bhikkhu. And how did he become a monk? What happened? How did he become a monk? If you remember the story, once he had achieved the first level of enlightenment, he had faith through the Buddha fully, no question about it. So he asked the Buddha, can I become a monk? The Buddha said, you can become a monk. and then he become a monk. Very simple. There was no ceremony. You don't have to go tell your friend and your parents and come to the temple and chanting and offering. No, just him and the Buddha said, you become a monk, and then he become a monk. Simple as that. So he take refuge in the Buddha, fully submit to the Buddha teaching, the Buddha and the Dhamma. Okay, back then there was no Sangha, only the Buddha and his teaching. So the Buddha and the Dhamma. So this one of these 5 ascetics or Panchavakkhya, he fully submit himself to the full refuge. Okay, when someone ordained, that person take refuge. Take refuge in what? Take refuge in the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. But back then there was no Sangha yet. That's why the first monk, he take refuge in the Buddha and the Buddha teaching, or the Buddha and the Dhamma. So he become a monk. And after that, the Buddha spent time with these 5 monks, okay, and he start teaching the second sutra called Anattalakkana Sutta. During that teaching, okay, 5 of them become an arahant. They become an arahant, and then they seek ordination. The same way they ordain from the Buddha. So 4 of you become a monk, then they become a monk. And at the end, now we have 5 monks in the history of Buddhism, the first 5 bhikkhu ever. As you can see, for someone to become a monk, they have to get permission from the Buddha. They seek refuge and ask the Buddha, I want to become a monk. And then he allows, then you become a monk. Simple as that. This is the first way for someone to become a monk. And later on, the teaching of the Buddha spread throughout the India. Many people have listened to his talk, his teaching, so they understand and then they realize that, okay, I believe what the Buddha teach, so I want to become a monk too. And more people want to become a monk, and it's difficult for them to find the Buddha because the Buddha always traveling. So the Buddha allow the second way of ordination. This is the first one, you ordain directly from the Buddha, right? So the second one, you ordain with the senior monk, the appointed senior monk. The Buddha allowed that, okay, if you live far away from the city and if you happen to have the senior monks over there, so I allow senior monks to provide ordination for those who have faith in the triple gem. So you can go find the temple in your town and seek for ordination. And the third one, you ordain through the Sangha. Eventually, many people want to ordain. It's difficult for them again to find, it's inconvenient for them to find a particular monk to ordain. So the Buddha allowed the third way of ordination of someone who wants to become a monk. You need to go through this, this format is called ordination through the Sangha or Yati Jatuthakam. This tradition has been, practiced for many years after the Buddha passed away. So this is the only way that someone nowadays who wants to become a monk, you need to go through this, or then through the Sangha, which means you need 1 preceptor, okay, and another 20 monks as your witness. In some rural area, the Buddha allow maybe 5 or 10 monks are acceptable, but in the city, usually you need to have at least 20 monks to be a witness of your ordination. You see how difficult for someone to become a monk. In summary, there are 3 ways for someone who wants to become a monk. So back then, you ordain directly with the Buddha, and the second, you ordain with the senior monks that the Buddha allow. Okay, so we call this people who ordain you, we call them preceptor. Preceptor is the teaching monk who qualifying to perform ordination procedure. So they have to take some sort of education and pass the exam to certify themselves to become a preceptor. It's not easy. So the second one, ordained with the senior monk, and the third one, this is what the only option left nowadays, ordained through the Sangha. The word ordination is an English word. Okay, originally the word called Banpacha. Banpacha literally means go forth. This is the original word, and later on we call it ordination. When the Buddha ordained the 5 aesthetics, and that is called Banpacha. Brahmacharya mean what? Mean going forth. Going forth from what? Going forth means you leave lay life to the monk's life. You leave from home to homeless life. Welcome to homeless life. Now you have no house, you have no family, you have nothing. Monks, we live in the community. We live together, we help each other. We have our community to support each other. So you basically leave home to become a homeless. You don't own anything. Okay? Monks, we don't own the temple. The temple not belong to us. We cannot sell the temple. Not like Christian church. Church you can sell. Temple, Buddhist temple, you cannot sell. No monks own it. So Banpacha means going forth. There are two kinds of Banpacha. Okay? The first one we call lower ordination. The second one we call higher ordination. Lower ordination and higher ordination. Lower ordination is ordained novice. Who is novice? Novice is a boy, okay, who younger than 20, from 7 to 19, if your parents allow. In order to ordain as a monk or higher ordination, okay, you need to more than 20, fully 20. So we call it Upasamppata. So if you hear the word Banpacha, okay, that's original word. Banpacha means just leave from home to homeless. Banpacha means going forth. Okay? Novice observe 10 precepts. Okay? But monks observe 2 to 7 precepts. Big difference. So if you have this concept clear, this tells you many things. To go forth means you go from home to homeless life. You go from lay life to monastic life. That means you choose to leave everything behind. Leave family, leave home, leave business. Nothing. You don't want anything. You just want to be free. You don't even want to have house. You become a homeless. You become a person who has no job. There's nothing. No money, no work to do. That means this telling you that whatever the lay people do, the monks, we don't do. Whatever you do before you become a monk, now you cannot do. You should not do. Like what? If lay people can enjoy, playing soccer, going to the concert, okay, having a party, enjoy a nighttime, sightseeing or drinking, dancing. That's what the lay people do, But as a monk, this is not the life I wanted to live. So you choose to leave home to become a homeless. So keep that in mind. Should I do this or should I not do this? So if this is what the lay people do, that's what you should not do. In general, we eat to live, to gain energy, and then we can practice meditation, we can learn the Dhamma. That's what we eat. We dress just to cover the body. That's all you have for the rest of your life. 3 pieces of rope. We don't have more than this. But how many clothes do you have when you are at home? So many clothes, so many shoes. But now this is what you have. So we dress just to protect the body, to cover the body. That's all. So keep that concept in mind. Okay? If you don't know what precept is, what monk should do, what monk should not do, you think of, okay, this is what the lay people do. This is what I should not do. I suppose this is what I shouldn't be doing. But if you are not sure, this is your reference. The Buddha clearly said what monk can do, what monk cannot do, what monk should do, what monk should not do. This is our handbook. This is the beauty of ordination. The Buddha laid out everything clearly. So if you follow the rules strictly, you will become a good monk. The Buddha teaches us everything. Now you reborn as a monk. You die from lay life, you reborn as a monk. The Buddha teaches you everything. He teaches you how to dress nicely, properly. He teaches you how to eat. He teaches you how to walk. He teaches you how to talk. He teaches you how to train yourself in every area in your life. He even teaches you how to use the toilet. Unbelievable. He teaches you everything. If you follow his teaching strictly, you will become a very good person. Even though you have to disrobe, whatever you learn, whatever good habit you cultivate in monk's life, this habit will go with you for the rest of your life, and it helps you to become successful in life. Okay, that's the beauty of the monastic code. But again, it's simple life, but it's not easy life. So many things to know, so many things to learn, so many things to practice. So now we move to this one. Why someone ordain? Why did you ordain? What is your motivation to become a monk? This is simple life, but it's not easy life at all. I think at home is easier. You can be lazy, you can wake up anytime you want, you can watch movie all day, you can enjoy party with your friends, and you can play soccer with your friends whenever you want, do whatever you want, whenever you want. So easy life back home. But now you cannot do that. There's so many rules for you to follow, so many things for you to train yourself. And the question is why? Someone want to live life as a homeless person in asceticism, in monastic community, full with lots of rules and regulation. What the benefit of them joining this life journey or living in this lifestyle? If you remember, when you ordain, you take the saffron robes, this one, put in your arms, and then you kneel down, and then you speak in front of your preceptor and the monks community, and you said Sappha Tukha Nissarana Nibbana Sachikaranathaya Etang Kasawang Kahetawa Papa Chetamang Pante Anukampang Upathaya. That's what you said. What does it mean? And that's what the people back then said. They said the same thing 2,500 years ago. And then they would allow to become a monk. And nowadays, people also follow the same tradition. We follow the same procedure to become a monk. We said the same thing. That's what we said. What you just said was, you ask your preceptor that, please, I want to free myself from suffering. Life is so suffering. I want to liberate myself. Please, preceptor, please take this saffron robe and allow me to become a monk. That's what you just said. And that's what people said back then, 2,500 years ago. They said the same thing. That means the only reason why someone become a monk in the time of the Buddha, because they realize that the teaching of the Buddha make more sense to him, that life is suffering. And we should get out of that circle of suffering. That is why people want to become a monk. They quit everything they do. They leave everything behind. They decided to have nothing and follow the teaching of the Buddha to free themselves from suffering. So the only reason and the main reason for someone to become a monk is to free oneself, from suffering, or to achieve Nibbana. Same thing. When you achieve Nibbana, when you realize Nibbana, you are free from suffering. You are fully liberated. You are fully free. This is the only and the one reason for people who ordained in the past. But nowadays, how many people actually ordain for this reason? Do you aware that, hey, life is suffering? The teaching of the Buddha makes sense to me, and then I want to get out of this suffering. I want to achieve Nibbana, and that's why I want to become a monk. Is that what you sign up for? Or you ordain for something else? So whether you ordain for short term or long term, for one day or for one lifetime, the only reason why people ordain is because of this. To free oneself from suffering. The question is how, that's another thing. But the reason, this is it. Life is suffering. The Buddha said, suffering, this one, is the greatest danger of the world. People who achieve enlightenment, they are aware of the fact that life is suffering. If you remember, what did the Buddha discover? He discovered something called the Four Noble Truths, right? Yeah, Four Noble Truths. He discovered something called the Four Noble Truths, which we will not cover today. Four Noble Truths basically talk about two things: talk about suffering and talk about how to end suffering. And this is the essence of the teaching of the Buddha. This is the main teaching, the core teaching of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths. Talk about suffering and how to end suffering. That's it. And he said, that's all I teach. In the past 45 years of his working life, that's all he teach. He teach people to realize the truth, the true nature, to realize the true nature of life, that life is suffering and you should get out of that kind of suffering. And he did mention that, on the third sutra, the first one is Dhammacak, right? Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra. The second one is Anattalakkana Sutta. And the third sutra is is called the fire sermon. In that third sutra, the Buddha explained clearly that life we are burning with three sets of fire. Okay, the first one is called greed or lust. The second one is called hatred or anger. And the third one is called delusion or ignorance. The Buddha said, human being, every single second we are burning, okay, with these three sets of fire. The first day we born until the last day we die. Okay, the fire of greed or lust, the fire of hatred, and the fire of delusion. And that causes us suffering. These three sets of fire cause us suffering and it keep burning us. Okay, every single breath that we take. And human being, we just so ignorant, we didn't know that. We have no idea. That's why he said suffering is the greatest danger of the world. And why we suffer? We suffer because these three sets of fire, okay, are burning us every single second that we live. And it leads us to, problem in life, it leads us to suffering. So we should aware of that fact and we should find a way to get rid of these three sets of fire. And that is why people decided, I want to become a monk. Once they understand the teaching of the Buddha, wow, this fact is so amazing, I didn't know that. So once he realized that, he wants to ordain. And why he wants to ordain? Because he wants to free himself as soon as possible from these three sets of fire. Can you free yourself from this set of fire as a lay person? Can you? Of course you can. The answer is yes. But being a monk is better. For you to pursue a perfect spiritual development, being a monk is recommended. It's better because life is, is free from many worry. That's why the Buddha said, living life as a lay person is like you walk down to the narrow path. But if you ordain, you walk opposite path. You walk in the wider path. You walk into the wide open path. This is open. This is freedom. For you to pursue the spiritual development fully, this is recommended. But can you do it as a lay person? Yes, you can. It may take longer. This is faster. It's a fast track. And that is why people ordain. So keep that in mind. But in our case, we may ordain with different reasons. Some of you ordain short term. You want to learn the Dhamma. You want to take time off from the busy world. You want to relax. You want to meditate. It's okay. Whatever it is. Just want you to know that the real reason why someone ordained is to free oneself from suffering. So I hope if you plan to ordain short term, okay, you set your goal very clear what you want out of the next 3 months. Okay, you study Dhamma, you cultivate good habit. So when you leave this training in the next 3 months, you become a different person. A person who are happier, a person who see things more clearly about life, a person who are more calm, something like that. So set some goal. Okay. So take this training environment to be as as a tool to help you to be a better person. The Vinaya also, you can look at this as a rule, use them as a tool to help you to become a better person. Okay, there's a lot of things here that very beneficial if we follow it strictly. Okay, so now what are the benefits of being a monk? What do you think? The Buddha did talk about this in one of the long sutra. It's called Samanyaphala Sutra. In very detail about the benefit of being a monk in the superficial level, in the middle level, and in the highest level. But we're not covering that today. But in general, what do you think? What kind of benefit that we gain from becoming a monk? What about free from worry? Now you don't have to work no more. Think of yourself at home. What you are doing Monday to Friday. If you're a student, you go to school, do homework, take exam. If you work, right, you have to get up early, get on the bus or drive to the workplace. You work 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You drive back home, you fix dinner, you eat, you watch TV, you go to bed. And next day morning, you follow the same routine. And you have goal to achieve. You have a lot of pressure in your work. Whatever work you do, you have pressure. And now, you become a monk, you don't have to work like that. You are free from worry. So if you are having worries in your mind as a monk, that is something wrong. Your mind should be free from worry, especially worry about something back home. Because this lifestyle is no such thing to be worried. Food is provided, bedroom is provided, meditation room is already provided, classroom, library, everything is provided for you. So why do you still worry? What caused you worry? So think about that. What is the second one? How about simple lifestyle? Look at yourself. How many possessions do you have? Comparing before you become a monk. How many stuff you have in your closet? Cars, shoes, clothes, luggage, whatever, tools, computers, phone. And now you're only allowed to have a very few items. We have 3 pieces of clothes, right? This is what we wear. If you don't disrobe, this is what we are going to wear for the rest of our life. We have no hair, okay? We shave head every 2 weeks. So now have no worry about hair no more. Everyone the same. You have water flask, you have flashlight, you don't even have pillow. You have umbrella, you have shoes. You have, I believe, less than 15 items. Then you can survive as a monk. In fact, the Buddha allowed us to have 8 items. Okay, only 8 items. We can live for the rest of our life. This is minimum living. It's very simple. We are allowed to have clothes. We are allowed to have water flask. We are allowed to have bowl. We are allowed to have needle. We are allowed to have laser braid. That pretty much, nothing much we are allowed to have. 8 items. Okay, so now welcome to the simple lifestyle. But simple doesn't mean easy life. Okay, it's simple, but it's not easy. What else that you may gain benefit from being a monk? What about self-development or habit development? This training is very, to me, is very useful for someone who seriously to train oneself to be a better person in every area. Your behavior, your manner, your attitude will be changed if you follow the training rules strictly. What time do you get up at home? You may go to bed midnight, you may wake up at 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, and no one saying anything about that. Your moms love you, she say nothing. You can eat whenever you want, you can watch TV all day, you can do whatever you want, you can play game, you can party with your friends, and now you cannot do those kind of things. You have to wake up 4:30 in the morning. You have to go to bed at 10. All the lights will be turned off. You meditate. You chant morning chanting, evening chanting. We eat on time, 7 o'clock and 11:15, on time every single day. So you automatically habituate your body to wake up on time, to go to bed on time, to go toilet on time, to eat on time. Do you see the benefit of doing that for 90 days, 3 months? What if you ordain longer and that's what you will be doing, longer than that? Your life is pretty much follow the same routine every single day to keep your mind focused. So you have nothing to be worried about. So you have a chance to develop yourself. Plus you follow, rule. This rule help you to be more mindful of what you can do, what you cannot do, what you can eat, what you cannot eat. So it helps you to be very mindful. So you will be a mindful person if you really follow the rule that laid down by the Buddha. So this is, to me, this is one of the best, self-development training program to become a monk. And that is why in summer, usually parents would send their kids to become a novice and have the monks train their children. Because at home, children do whatever they want. And mommy cannot say anything. When the kids ordain, they have to follow the monk. The kid has to go wake up at 4:30 in the morning. They cannot play game. They cannot do a lot of things that they used to be doing at home. After 1 month, they go back home. They have change, but that change will not sustain because they go back to the same routine. And because parents love them, that's why it's okay. You can wake up whenever you want. You can eat whenever you want, whatever you want, and then they go back to the same habit. You're free from worry, you live simple life, self-development. What about gain merit? So this concept may be quite difficult to understand in the mindset of Westerner. But if you're from Buddhist family, I don't have to explain this. We believe that ordination is one of the great ways to make merit for oneself and make merit for someone we love. No question about that. It's become our awareness that ordination, we gain merit. It is a very difficult life to live. It's the life of purity. It's the life of chastity. When your mind is pure, that's how you gain more merit. When you are outside in the society, it's very hard to maintain the pure mind. But once we join the Sangha community or the monastic community, these environments help us, to develop a good quality of the mind, and that's how we gain more merit. Because we observe, more precepts, we become more mindful than the lay life. There are more of this, but I hope you get an idea. How to become successful in your ordination? How? To me, this is very important question. I hope everyone wants to know how, okay? And hope you to get this picture very clear. You know already why people ordain. The reason why people ordain, because they want to free themselves from suffering, right? So if this is the man from point A to point B, okay. In Buddhism, the ultimate goal in Buddhism is called Nibbana. Once we realize Nibbana, we are free from suffering. We are fully liberated. So someone sign up to become a monk, that means he wants to free himself from suffering. And that's the ultimate goal. Eventually, hopefully I can get there. Once I get there, now no more suffering. That's the idea. It doesn't mean that everyone can get there though. Also, it doesn't mean that you have to wait until you get there to become a happy person. No. You can be happy along the way. But this is the ultimate happiness or peace. That's the ultimate. That's the perfect one. You should set goal for that perfect one. But for now, maybe it's too far. I don't know when I'm going to be enlightenment. But you can follow the teaching of the Buddha along the way. If you follow it strictly, you can have a happy life every single day that you live. You need to know the framework to help you how to do that. Okay? What monks usually follow, I keep it simple. There are 3 things. The first one is called precept. The second one is called mental development. And the third one is called wisdom development. There are 3 boxes for you to keep in mind. If you train yourself under these 3 concepts, you will become successful. You will be happy the first day you ordain, all the way up. There is one teaching that kind of get me thinking. Okay, the teaching of Sariputta. You know Sariputta. He is one of the greatest disciples. He is the right hand of the Buddha. Okay, Sariputta. Someone asked Sariputta, what is the most difficult thing in the teaching of the Buddha? Or in other words, what is the most difficult thing in Buddhism? He said, the most difficult thing in the Buddha teaching is ordination. People can listen to the Buddha teaching. People can have faith in the Buddha teaching. But not many people will be ordained as a monk. So ordination is difficult in Buddhism because it's hard to do. You think of people around you, your friends. How many people want to become a monk, even though they're born in Buddhist family? No. If we're talking about ordaining as a monk for life, forget about it. In nowadays, people don't even think of ordination. So ordination is very difficult. And I like to congratulate you because all of you have passed the first difficulty already. You are now a monk, very successful, in these religions, in the teaching of the Buddha. You have strong faith, that's why you ordain. You become a monk. So ordination, you have gone through that. This is the first one that Sariputta suggests that is the most difficult in Buddhism. The second one, what is more difficult than this? What do you think? Finding joy. Ordination is difficult, but finding joy in your ordination and training is more difficult. Why is that? Imagine yourself, you can do whatever you want as a lay person, and now oppositely, you cannot do whatever you want. You cannot eat whatever you want, whenever you want. You cannot do things as you wanted to do. Not only that, you have to observe 227 precepts. So many rules in your life. But as a lay person, you don't even have rules to follow. You don't have to follow anything. Of course, you follow the law. Oh, by the way, what's the difference between law, and precept? The rules of law and the precept, what are the difference? Why people follow the law and why monks follow the precept? It's similar idea, but it's not quite the same, right? In the outside world, we follow the law. We don't want to break the law because we don't want to get punishment. You don't want to get punishment. If you steal something, if you do something bad, you get punishment. You may have to go to jail or prison. But why people observe precept? Precept is individual. Law is for everyone to follow. Law is enforced for everyone to be followed. But precept is individual. You don't have to observe any precept. If there are 5 precepts, you can observe only 4 precepts. It's optional. It's up to you. So, law doesn't make good people. Law enforce people not to do a bad thing. But precept, different. Precept help people who observe precept to be a good person. Precept, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to observe. No one can force you to observe precept. Now you're a monk, you observe 227. I cannot force you to observe precept. Your preceptor cannot force you to observe precept. You have to be willing to observe. And that is why it said very hard to find someone to be joyful as a monk, because so many rules to be followed. This cannot do, that cannot do, this cannot eat, that cannot eat. Dress like this, no good. Dress like that, impolite. Speak like that, walk like that, no good. You see? So many people at the very beginning, they found themselves very frustrated of the rules that they have to follow. But if you look at long term, okay, if you follow precept, this precept will help you to lay down a very good foundation to be a person with a good mind. Okay, precept help us to control body and speech plus manner. 3 things that precept does for us. It helps us to control bodily action, verbally action, okay, and help us, to obtain a good manners if we follow this precept. And the third one, what else more difficult than this? Ordination is difficult, finding joy is difficult. What else? This is important. Mastering the Dhamma. This is the most difficult one in Buddhism. whether you are a lay person or you are a monk, because many people who call themselves Buddhist, they don't practice what the Buddha teach. Now you become a monk, you should practice according to the Buddha teaching. You should mastering the Dhamma practice. This is the most difficult one. And here what I mean by mastering the Dhamma practice. You need to master 3 of these. You need to be one day perfect in precept, perfect in mental development, and perfect in wisdom. When you reach or realize Nibbana, it's not an easy job, but it can be done through this framework. Okay? Mental development, what are they? Meditation and mindfulness. This is body and verbal. Okay? Body and speech. This is the mind. So we develop body, speech, we develop our manner, we develop our habit, and then at the same time we develop the mind through meditation practice to mindfulness practice. Okay, and eventually this is what we want the most to have, to develop the wisdom. What is develop wisdom? To study the Dhamma. Okay, there's so many things that we need to know. We're talking about the 4 Noble Truths, okay, the 8 Paths, okay, and so on. We need to realize the 4 Noble Truths. Okay? We need to see things the way they are, as the Buddha wants us to see and understand. That is called perfect wisdom. When we have perfect wisdom, our minds will be clear. Our mind will be pure. Okay? If you ask me what is one sentence that I can call all of this, just one word. All of this. When someone ordained, when someone become a monk, or when someone decided to follow the teaching of the Buddha, what is one word that we can describe the teaching of the Buddha, that we can put into practice? I would give that word called purity. If every action you do, everything you talk, everything you think is moving toward the purity, you are on the right track. You are following the teaching of the Buddha. You're not going to harm anybody, you're not going to kill, you're not going to steal, there's no sexual misconduct, there's no lying, there's no intoxicant, because you're moving your life toward purity. And eventually, you will get there. And even though you may not get there in this lifetime, it doesn't mean that your life cannot be happy. You will be happy every single day that you live if you're moving your life toward purity. And the question is, how do you practice purity? And here it is. Okay? Having precept. If you're a lay person, you follow 5 or 8 precepts. If you're a monk, of course, you observe more. The only thing that differentiates us from the lay person is the precept we observe. If we do things the way they do, we drink, we dance, we party, we don't deserve their bow. We don't deserve their offering. Second one, mental developments, purify your mind. And the third one, okay, cultivate wisdom. So this is the big picture. This is how you can become successful if you keep this picture in your mind. Okay, I think that's it. We cover this 4 topic today. We talk about the background of ordination and why people ordain, okay, what the benefit of the ordination, and how to be successful in your ordination. Okay, so keep that picture in mind, go back, think about it, reflect on it, okay, and if you have questions, you can come and talk to me anytime.